Jerry, can't make it, man. It's bad. It's real bad. It's bad. What? Game today release? No. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Rock and roll. Ghost Recon, the franchise that made us all feel like tactical geniuses. My God! Sort of. Since the OG Ghost Recon dropped back in 2001, the franchise has been cooking in the tactical shooter scene. Some might argue the last iteration was far from what we've seen from Redstone and Ubisoft back in the days in the 2000s, but hey.
It is what it is.
Over the years, these bad boys racked up a squad of die-hard fans, stirred up a few pot of drama, and built a rep that keeps us coming back. No matter how many times we've been given a clunky game.
Sorry. Totem Pester, so it's like...
So grab your gear and let's take a look into the Ghost Recon universe, from its humble beginnings to its current state. And if you're new here, welcome home and get a snack. Show us some love by flirting with the like button and subscribe for more gaming videos and of course some banter. At a time when video games were still figuring out how to balance realism with fun, the original Ghost Recon was released by Ubisoft on October 7th in 2001. Set in the post-Cold War era, players took on the role of Tier 1 units tasked with taking down rogue factions, threatening global stability. With tactical gameplay and emphasis on teamwork, it quickly built up a nice following, as the game was released on GameCube, PC, PS2, and Xbox. The game was like a first date, awkward at times, but promising enough for a second go. At the time, critics praised its realistic approach to military tactics. I mean, realism for what it could be in 2001. At the same time, fans were hooked on the thrill of playing a badass Delta Force operator, or whatever the ghosts are supposed to be. You could be coordinating with friends to execute the perfect ambush. Of course, not everyone was convinced. Some thought the game was too punishing.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Friendly down.
Oh my god, you're right there already?
Another kill.
The OG Ghost Recon game was a critical and commercial success, selling over 1 million copies and setting the stage for a franchise that would grow in both complexity and ambition. It was like a fine Irish whiskey, smooth at first, but it packed a punch.
It was nice.
What's really cool about the original Ghost Recon game is just how different it is. If you haven't really watched much gameplay of it before, it's very interesting because compared to the modern day Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, or Wildlands, which are more open world base assault sort of scenarios, this game is entirely a separate style of game. Its game structure, its missions are entirely different, not just a difference of open world, but also tonally, thematically. This game is entirely a much more non-fiction style of game.
The game's emphasis on squad-based tactics laid the foundation for future titles, which would continue to explore the genre of military strategy and co-op gameplay. With the success of the original game, Ubisoft decided to cash in faster than a lad at a pub when the happy hour hits.
Sorry, what?
Enter Ghost Recon Desert Siege and Ghost Recon Island Thunder. Both released in 2002, these expansions offered new campaigns, maps and missions, allowing players to dive deeper into the Ghost Recon experience. Desert Siege took players to the sandy landscapes of Africa, where you could battle against a fictional militia. Island Thunder, on the other hand, transported players to Cuba, where they faced threats in the wake of a fictional Cuban coup.
Cubans with CIA training.
Both expansions were met with positive reviews, with fans appreciating the new content. However, some seasoned players felt like they were being served leftovers, leaving them feeling something like they've signed up for a 5-star meal and they got reheated pizza or something.
What is this? What is this?
But all in all, these expansions solidified the franchise's reputation for delivering engaging top-shelf gameplay. For 2002's standards, of course. We did get an expansion of the first game a couple of years later on PS2, even on the Nokia N-Gage, and a couple other mobile platforms. I think the expansion was called Jungle Storm or something like that. Honestly, not their most well-known one, but I digress.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's 2004. The radios worldwide are blasting cool tunes like Numb by Linkin Park, and Back When R. Kelly was somehow a respected individual. Ubisoft were like, another one.
Another one. Another one. No, another one.
So in 2004 we got Ghost Recon 2, baby. It was released on the GameCube, the Xbox and PS2. A PC release was announced but never really saw the light of day. Ubisoft cancelled the PC release in April 2005 for some reason, but there was an Xbox exclusive release. It was an extension for the game Recon 2 called Summit Strike, I think.
Has been using his contacts in the Kazakh military to funnel old Soviet munitions to Allied Mujahideen holdouts. The Kazakh president and his security council recently discovered his operations and began to shut them down. This is footage of Rahil's response. We're not here for the politics, and we're not here as peacekeepers. Our team has been called in to take this guy down.
The full release cancellation made sense at the time. As we know, 2005 was the year Call of Duty 2 was released, and we know it was the right move from Ubisoft to hold on to their next full big title release for the franchise that year.
Smart. Very smart.
Now let's fast forward another year. So now we're in 2006, another great year in gaming history. Although the 2000s were the gaming era, to be fair, with releases like Final Fantasy VII, The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, The Godfather, Call of Duty 3, Tomb Raider Legends, and Ubisoft also competing with themselves that year with release like Rainbow Six Vegas, I think, because Ubisoft was it back then, folks. You know, they were cooking. All right. So in 2006, Ubisoft also went ahead with their big energy and pulled out Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter.
I think a lot of people, when this game released the demo before it came out, everyone was expecting that 360 version. This game is an interesting and actually good playing game in its own right, but graphically, like, you just look around and you can see like what I'll describe as the PP filter covering all of the graphics. Unlike, there is HDR in this game, but unlike the 360 version, I think it doesn't use it very well. because it's overly post-processed beyond the HDR2. Like, this is yellow everywhere.
This game would redefine the franchise and set the bar higher than a Leprechaun can reach, let me tell you that. It's stunning graphic, advanced AI, and innovative gameplay mechanics. It was a leap into the future that made players feel like they were on the front lines of a futuristic battlefield. Sort of, you know.
This isn't a fun shooter where you can run in and go crazy. You've got to use cover, otherwise the brutal and unforgiving enemies will absolutely ruin you. Played in co-op is for me the best experience, but solo you can rely on your AI teammates. Mission variety is solid, seeing you airdropped into hostile zones, rescuing and escorting hostages, destroying key ordnance, or using some heavy weaponry to rain down hell on your enemy.
This game was set in Mexico City. Players were thrown into a conflict involving terrorists armed with cutting-edge technology, or what we thought would be futuristic back then. The game introduced a new cross-com system, allowing players to command their squad in real time. This was the game where players could yell "flank left" while frantically trying to remember which button did what.
Too many, Rick! Too many!
Advanced Warfighter received critical acclaim, winning several awards and selling over 2.5 million copies. What? 2.5? God damn! You go, Ubisoft.
You go.
Critics hailed it for its innovation and depth, while fans were hooked on the adrenaline rush of high-stakes combat. It was the kind of game that made you want to call in sick to work just to play one more mission.
One more. Come on, son.
The community that were fans of the Tom Clancy Recon franchise were, well, spoiled and looked after, you know. It was magical.
Well, we've been invited as a group of gamers to come over to Ubisoft Studios in Paris to meet the Ghost Recon development team. So we had a chance to meet the producer, and all the guys. We met the whole development team and said thanks to them. It's been a great visit.
We'll be doing so and having workshops and giving feedback on different subjects that the devs want our input on.
We had breakfast with Yves this morning, and we were able to ask him some questions. And it was really cool for me to be able to see the CEO of a €1 billion company talking to some gamers about, you know, what they like and what they want out of a game.
Ubisoft did it. They were established as being able to make kids feel like army commandos kicking butts. So they did what most dev studios at the time would do. Make more of the games that work. So then we got more games like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, which was released in 2007. It was released for Xbox 360, PC, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable. Obviously, it's the sequel to the first one, released a year before. Then we also, in 2010, we got the Ghost Recon Predator. It was just a PSP only release. And in 2010, so it's Ubisoft, you know, the fact that they had a PSP only release, they also had to do it for Nintendo, right? So the same year, we got a different game. Well, it was Ghost Recon. It was just a Ghost Recon base game for the Nintendo Wii at the time.
This is Lieutenant Dan with Allied Ground Forces. We are in proximity to your position, and we'll be sending support ASAP. Hibbert, Booth, go!
Roger that, Lieutenant. Booth, let's move out. I'm with you.
In 2011, we got Shadowwars, which was released on March 25th in Europe, and the 27th in North America, and the 31st of March in Australia. It was launched as a launch title for Nintendo's new console at the time.
Like you. Again, the green squares show where I can attack from. I'm going to bring Duke up near to Banshee. Select it.
Although fun, all the games were essentially safe. You know, they were nothing genre-defining when it comes to innovative ideas or exciting twists. These games were mostly just platform-exclusive titles, except for the Advanced Warfighter sequel. Filler-type games really, but hey, just to show kind of like the brand still going with the franchise, but nothing really life-changing. Until it all changed in May of 2012. In the summer of 2012, Ubisoft released Ghost Recon Future Soldiers, taking the franchise further into the genre of high-tech warfare, with gadgets that would make James Bond envious, dude.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Players could engage in top-secret operations using drones, smart weapons, and a plethora of new gameplay mechanics. It was like they merged Mission Impossible with a military strategy game, and the fan base were all here for it, you know?
Move, move, move!
The game's campaign followed a team of ghosts as they tracked down a weapons dealer across various global hotspots, proving again that if there's a bad guy to take down, the ghosts are the best bet. The fans just loved it.
Sleep. Don't you understand? I can't sleep.
While the Future Soldier garnered praise for its visual and innovative gameplay, it faced criticism for its single-player campaign length and occasional bugs as well. Gamers were left scratching their heads wondering if they were playing a tactical shooter or a game of will it crash today?
Here we go, let's see if we crash.
My gun is silenced.
I think all our guns are silenced by default, right? Unless we specifically... crashed. Damn it.
Still, the multiplayer mode brought back some of that classic Ghost Recon magic, you know, allowing players to engage in tactical team play. So the community was alright with it, you know.
En route to Alpha. Frag out!
Yeah, boy.
One of the most remarkable aspects of the Ghost Recon franchise is its community. The fans are a passionate bunch. As the franchise evolved, so did its fan base. Gamers from the early 2000s grew up, and many brought their love for tactical shooters into adulthood, forming friendships and even communities online. Whether it's through forums, social media, and gaming conventions, the Ghost Recon fan base has cultivated a sense of belonging and camaraderie.
Oh, is it on fire?
Yes, it is. Oh, yo, we get it clean.
Alright, yo, let's go. Let's get in the whip. Come on.
Oh.
No! Drive away.
I'm coming. Go.
Okay, go. I'm...
Drive away.
Teamwork.
However, it hasn't always been roses and rainbows. There have been moments when the community felt let down by Ubisoft. Like in 2012 with the Ghost Recon Commander, which it was literally Ghost Recon, but it was like a Facebook game. The game was cancelled only 5 months after launch. This resulted in the development team being laid off and all. In 2014, we got Ghost Recon Phantoms, a multiplayer-only free-to-play game. The game featured third-person combat between teams of players using one of 3 soldier classes. It was originally designed for Windows and the Wii U, but development issues prompted an exclusive focus on the PC platform. And then we got Ghost Recon Frontline. The first trailer received a large number of dislikes on YouTube.
No.
Ubisoft promoted a giveaway for Ghost Recon's 20 years anniversary. Due to an undisclosed reason, Ubisoft cancelled the alpha test and delayed it indefinitely.
I wonder why.
On January 28 in 2022, Ubisoft launched a closed beta for the game, although gameplay soon leaked onto Twitch. The footage was heavily criticized for being visually and conceptually similar to Call of Duty Warzone, another free-to-play battle royale game at the time, probably dead by now. So in July 2022, Ubisoft announced that it had cancelled the project. Well, when it comes to Frontline, a lot of fans didn't really care because it was so far away from what the core experience of playing Ghost Recon used to be and is, if that makes sense. Especially with a few years before 2019, when Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it initially released, it wasn't ready. It was just a mess, it was clunky. I remember checking it out and it had nothing to do with what the OG Ghost Recon used to be.
Did I just smack it into an invisible wall?
What the fuck is this?
Wildlands now would be something that I would still consider it a Ghost Recon title, even though with the open world setting and all of those. The missions were better, the story was more engaging, but yeah, at launch Breakpoint was just a dud, for me personally, and to many other fans.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint suffers from a double whammy of cardinal sins. It doesn't do justice to the stuff it brings over as is from its predecessor, and it doesn't even execute any of its own new ideas properly. So often we hear about games that had content or ideas cut during development, either because they did not fit their vision or because the developers weren't confident they'd be able to do justice to those ideas. It feels like Ghost Recon Breakpoint skipped that part of the process. Ubisoft threw a bunch of disparate and conflicting...
Now 6 years after the initial launch, I know developers went back and polished things around, and now the game feels way more fun, way more interesting. The story is still kind of like some room for improvement, let's just say that, but still, it's a good game, but it's, to me personally as an OG fan, it's not what it used to be. It's not the same thrill, it's different, the gameplay is different. There's some limitations sometimes, and sometimes it still do kind of have the old glitchy and the old bugs that we know and love from these titles anyways. Yeah, so this is it, folks. I didn't really talk about Wildlands because Wildlands everybody know and love. It's one of those titles that kind of like separates OG fans and newer fans. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm saying I didn't really play it. But compared to Breakpoint, I think Wildlands has way more depth, way more passion into it, if that makes sense. Again, if you are an OG fan, if you're a new fan, essentially this community is 25 years old, right? The game is 25 years old. So we are a big group of people with different games along the years, produced by Red Storm and published by Ubisoft, and it's been fun. Let me know down below what you think, and if you're still a fan of the game, if you've distanced yourself from it, or if you're a new fan and you've never heard of the OG titles, the original titles, the Tom Clancy series, and Tom Clancy's an author, dude. Go and read the books. Right. Thank you for chilling with me, and thank you for watching. And if you're new here, you know what to do. Let us know if you want more of this type of content, and I'll see you in the next one. You take care of yourself, and peace.